Hey fifth graders, it's so exciting. Today's finally the day we're going to learn the standard algorithm for multiplication with a multi-digit multiplied by another multi-digit. So you're going to need your Unit 4 math packet for your notes, and I want you to open it up to lesson 9. That's the last one in this packet, and then I'll give you another one. We're not done with the chapter yet. We're going to move on to division next, so I have it separated out for you. So you need a pencil, you need this, and what we're going to do is we're going to start by solving this problem here using our place value rows like we did yesterday. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the first number here, 62, and write the whole thing up top and break up this 24 along the side. If you did it opposite and you put the 24 up here and the 62 here, it's not going to matter. Remember that commutative property, but your rectangles will look a little different. At the end, your answer will be the same though. All right, so we're going to find the area of this piece here, and we do that by taking 62 times 20. So I'm going to do 62 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 2 is 12. And then multiply that by 10, which means, yeah, I need to put a 0 in the ones place to shift all those digits to the left. And the second box here, this is, if this is 62, so is this. 62 times 4 will give me the answer. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 6 is 24. No zeros to add for this one. And we learned that to find the answer to this, we just add those two together. 1,240 plus 248. So 0 plus 8 is 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So we get 1,488. We're going to solve all three just to review this method, because this is one of the methods you do need to know according to the state of Michigan. All right. I have 36 times 43. I said yesterday you could just put the 36 up top because it happens first. You could put the 43 in the top. I know sometimes you like to put the larger values there, so why don't we for this one? Why not? Put a 43 up here, and along the side here, I'm going to put 30 plus 6. Again, this is place value rows because I don't have any columns. I only have rows. I'm just breaking up one of those numbers. So now I'm going to take 43 times the 30 and the 36. And when I do 43 times 30, if you ever see it set up like this, we know, oh, I have a multiple of 10. I'm going to have a 0 at the end. And now you can go ahead and just multiply that 3 through. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. So 1,290 for that box. And for this one, I would need to take 43 times 6. And 6 times 3 is 18, so there's 18. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And of course, to find the answer to the whole thing, we'd have to add those together. So I've got them lined up by place value. 0 plus 8 is 8. 9 plus 5 is 14. 245, and my 1. 1,548. And last review of yesterday's, I have 48 times 29. I'm going to write my 48 up here. And maybe you want to try this one on your own and press pause and then press play to make sure you're right. All right, 48 times 20 gets me the area of this. I'm going to put my 0 there because I know that's what happens. This is the same as 2 times 10. 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So 960. And down here, I'd have to take 48 times 9. 9 times 8 is 72. And 9 times 4 is 36. 36 plus 7 would give me 43. So to find the area of the whole thing, I would take 960 plus 432. 0 plus 2 is 2. 6, 7, 8, 9. And 9 plus 4 is 13. So 1,392. So I'm guessing we've got this whole place value column, or sorry, place value rows. I said the opposite. All set. I'm going to show you how you can use this to help you understand the standard algorithm. It's very, very similar to what we did when we multiplied by a single digit. Really, really close. But there's one key thing that I see as a common error, and I think if we understand how this matches it, it'll help. Okay, so when you set problems up for the standard algorithm, like if you're given a problem that's set like this, it's written horizontally, the first thing you'll want to do is what you did before. You're going to want to write it vertically. So I'm going to go ahead and do 62 times 24, and I want you to write this. I want you to write 62 times 24. Okay, now if you take a look at what we did here, you took the 62 times the 20 in the 24, right? So it's kind of like you took 62 times the 20 in the 24, and you did 62 times the 4 in the 24. So this is what you did here. That's the same thing we want to do here. I want to take 62 times the 4, and I want to take 62 times the 20 in the 24. And how we do this is we take one digit at a time, and I'm going to start with the ones, okay? We're always kind of working from the inside out, I guess, from right to left, which I know is the opposite of how we read. So I'm just going to ignore this 2 for now, and I'm going to do what I did before. I know that 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 6 is 24. So when you multiply the 62 times the 4, you get 248, which is what we just got here, right? Now, I want to take this 62 times this 2, right? But this 2 is actually worth 20. So right here, that's like this, where we did the 62 times the 20. But here's the deal. Here's where I see the mistakes happen. You're going to do what you did here. You know how you took 4 times the ones place and then 4 times the tens place? We're working from right to left. We're going to do the same thing, because that's what we did here. We did 62 times 2, and we got the 124. But this 2 is not worth 2, it's worth 20, isn't it? So in your first step, if I'm over here in the tens place, when I see, because I'm going to multiply this 2 by the ones place first, just like I did with the 4, 2 times 2 is 4, right? But this is not a 4 in the ones place. This is saying 20 times 2. And 20 times 2 is 40, isn't it? If I want to represent 40, down here, if I put a 4 in the ones place, I've just given it 4. So I need to put a 0 here to show that this isn't 2, that 20 times 2 is 40. And you can see right here that part of the problem, that's where it happens. So that's where the common mistake happens, is that instead of putting this placeholder here when we are starting from the tens place of multiplication, people will just put the 4 right here, that we have 4 ones, but we don't. And you'll get used to that as we go. So again, I just took this 2 in the tens place times 2. I had to go ahead and put that 0 in the ones place so that I know that I really have 40. Then I can go ahead and do 2 times 6 is 12. And now you see that you get 1,240, just like we had here when we did the 62 times 20. Now we can add them together. We just did this problem. 8 times 0 is 8, or 8 plus 0 is 8, 4 plus 4 is 8, 2 plus 2 is 4, and then I have my 1. So you see that they match. So when you're doing this, it's the same exact thing, okay? You're taking the 62 times the 20, and you're taking the 62 times the 4. It's this little step right here that can sometimes throw people through a loop. All right, so let's try another one here. And in this one, I did the 43 first times the 36. So when I rewrite this vertically, and it doesn't matter, you could write 36 times 43, you'll get the same answer, but your steps wouldn't match these, and I want them to match so you can see where it's coming from. So I'm gonna put my 43 in the top spot because that's what I did here, times 36. And you can see from this problem that 43 times 36 is the same thing as taking 43 times the 30 in the 36 and 43 times 6. So we always start with our ones. So first, let's look at this as 43 times 6. 6 times 3, that's 18. And in 18, don't I have 8 ones? Yeah, so I put the 8 in the ones place. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So I get my 258 just like I got right there. Now, I want to go ahead, we're done with the 3, right? We're all done with, we're all done with the 6. Just pretend I didn't cross that out. And I'm going to do the 3 times 3. Now, you might think, well, 3 times 3 is 9, and you can put your 9 right here. But it's not really 3 times 3, it's 30 times 3. So I need to put a 0 in the ones place. And a lot of times I just think of it as, okay, if I'm starting in the tens place, that means my answer needs to start in the tens place. So people will call this a placeholder 0. That's fine to think of it that way, but really it's because 30 times 3 is 90. And if I wrote a 9 in the ones place, I'd be saying that 30 times 3 is 9, and it's not. So I have to put that 0 there to represent the ones place because I'm starting with the tens. So 3 times 3 is 9, And then, you know how we carried this 1 from before? We don't need it now. 3 times 3 is just 9. So now I just do 3 times 4, which is 12. The only time you have to add it in there is if you carried it while you were solving that digit. So I only used that 1 when I was multiplying by the 6 because that's when I needed it. 3 times 3 is just 9, so we didn't have to carry anything. And now you can see this 1,290 matches that. So 8 plus 0 is 8, 5 plus 9 is 14, 2, 4, 5, and 1. And you can see it matches as it should. Okay, next. I have 48 times 29, and that's how I did it here. 48 times 29. We're going to start off, again, just doing 48 times 9. That's what we did down here, right? So in 48 times 29, you take the 48 times the 20, you take the 48 times the 9, but when you do it in the standard algorithm, we start with the ones place. So 9 times 8 is 72. And in 72, I have 2 1s and 7 10s, so it makes sense that the 2's in the 1s place. We didn't have to put any zeros in there. 9 times 4 is 36, and then 36 plus the 7 is 43. And you can already see that, yeah, 48 times 9 is 432. That matches. Okay, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cross off this 7 up here because I'm done with it, right? I needed it when I was working through with the 9. I think it's a good idea because sometimes you have to carry more than one number to cross it off once you're done with it. Now, in our next step, I need to multiply 48 by the 20 like I did right here. So I'm done with this 9 right now. I'm going to start here with a 2. And 2 times 8 is 16, right? And you might want to write down 16, but you can't because this is actually 20 times 8, okay? And 20 times 8 is not 16, it's 160. So because I'm starting here in the tens place, I need to put my 0 in the ones place. That's what happens here when you multiply by a multiple of 20, right? So put that 0 in as you move one place over. 2 times 8 is 16. Now I'm going to write my 6 and carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. And now you can see, oh, I got 960, 960. It's not 96, right? 48 times 2 is 96, but 48 times 20 is 960. So it's kind of like putting the 0 before instead of after. All right. 2 plus 0, 2, and then 9, and then 13. And we see that they match. So that's connecting it with the picture. I'm hoping this makes sense of where these two separate problems come from. It comes from breaking the 29 into 20 plus 9. On the next page, I don't give you the picture anymore. I just give you the problems. So turn the page. All right. Now, I find that when working with these, it's a lot easier to write those problems in the boxes, okay? So go ahead and we're going to solve letter D in here. So I'm going to write down D, and I want to give myself some space here, so I think I'm just going to start the problem over here, leaving room for me to carry. So 94 times 36 is our problem. One number per box. Okay. So we're going to start off, and remember, this is like the same thing as saying 94 times 6 and 94 times 30, right? So in 94 times 6, we start with our 1. I'm going to do 6 times 4. That's 24. And 9 times 6 is 54. 54 plus 2 is 56. Now, so I took the 6 times the 1s, the 6 times the 10s. I'm done with this 2. And I'm done with my 6. Now I need to do the 3 in 36, right? So I know that this is actually 30, 94 times 30, so I'm going to go ahead because I know I'm multiplying by a multiple of 10 and put my 0 there. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing I did with multiplying the 6, okay? But I'm starting in the tens place instead. And again, that had just happened because this is really 94 times 30. And you learned when you do 94 times 30, it's the same thing as 94 times 3 with that 0 because you multiply by 10 at the end. So put that. And now go ahead and do 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to write my 2, carry my 1. 9 times 3 is 27 plus 1 is 28. And now I can add these together. the most common thing I see is people take 564 plus 282. It's not. It's not 94 times 3. It's 94 times 30. 4 plus 0 is 4. 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 5 will give me 13. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3,384 is what you got. All right, move on to letter E. For E, it's 73 times 45. If you wrote 45 times 73, you'd get the same answer as me at the end. If you feel comfortable at this point, you can go ahead and pause and try this on your own and then press play when you're ready. So welcome back if that's what you're doing. And if you're not ready yet, then that's fine too. All right, I'm going to start with my ones place. I'm going to do the 73 times 5, and I just solve it like normal. 5 times 3 is 15. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36. I'm done with that 1. I'm done with a 5. Now, I want to multiply 73 by 40, right? Because we're breaking it up into 40 and 5. So when you multiply 73 by 40, we know that's the same thing as 73 times 4 with a 0. So I'm going to put my 0 first. Now, 4 times 3 is 12. I carry the 1. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 is 29. All you have to do now is add them together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 6, 7, 8. 9 plus 3 is 12, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3,285. All right, let's keep it going. F is 68 times 82. I'll give myself some room. 68 times 82. And again, you can pause anytime and work through these on your own, and then just make sure you press play to make sure that you're right. Okay, I'm going to start with the 68 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So when I multiplied by the 2, I got 136. I'm done with the 2. I'm done with that 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply 68 by the 80. And I know when I multiply by 80, I can do the same thing as 68 times 8 with a 0 in the ones place. So put that 0 in the ones place. 8 times 8 is 64. And 6 times 8 is 48. 48 plus 6 is 54. And now we're ready to add them together. 6 plus 0, 4 plus 3, 4 plus 1, and 5 plus nothing. 5,576. All right, hopefully you're feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to have us, for now, stop here, and then tomorrow we'll finish the other 3 when you're multiplying by 3 numbers. But for now, you know how to do a double digit multiplied by another double digit. Thank you so much for watching.